All right, what's going on, y'all? So I'm gonna do a little tier list today. I already have it all laid out, but this is gonna be specifically for YCS Columbus. I will be attending, so I think it's something that would be pretty cool for you guys that are in attendance or having your national season. This is my thoughts. Obviously post Banlist, but I've gave it like a good week now to actually think about it. So this isn't some quick video that I made in like 5 minutes after the ban list came out, just to capitalize on that. This is actually me. I've been playing a lot of Yu-Gi-Oh recently, lots of it on Master Road too, because Cool Tunes on there, and it's probably what I'm going to be playing. So this is me with the matchup knowledge that I have. One thing that I've been doing a lot different, and it's been such a hassle, is that I think the best way to play Cool Tune, if you're planning to play it, is to be a master of every other deck, because there's no point of using Rotary look at hand if you don't even know what their hand does, right? And I ran into that problem a few times when I'm playing against something like Power Patron Art Mage. I'm like, yeah, Rotary look hand. I don't even know what I'm looking at, man. Like what are these cards, dude? And then like you have to look at them, then you have to memorize them, right? So like memorizing cards that you know is already hard. Imagine memorizing something that you don't know, right? It's just quite difficult. But anyways, yeah. So I'm not gonna do it in a format, obviously, where like I do it and yeah as we go, because I think when I'm doing that, I know it makes the video longer and it's better for whatever. But whatever. But I think when I'm doing that, I forget my points, right? Because like I'll get to a deck, for example, like Sky Striker, and I'm like, where did I put this again? So like I didn't want to do that, because then I think the list will be a little bit skewed because I'm doing it in the moment, right? So let's go ahead and get started here. We have Branded and Kultun. Now, originally when the ban was first dropped, I think everyone, including myself, had Kultun as obviously the best deck. But now I think Branded is a insanely strong contender with Snow coming back. Not to mention, it has a really good matchup against Kultun. And matchup by itself, I don't think will make the deck that good. But I think even without the good matchup of Kultun, the reason why I have it up here is because it's just such a strong deck overall. All its form of interactions are, it's super resilient. The best grind game that the game has currently. Main phase 3, adding Ecclesia, Cartesia, High Spirits, little Trinity every turn. But yeah, the way it plays now is not trying to make the craziest end boards. But man, like you cannot push through some of its end board pieces sometimes, man. They put up like 4 walls, whatever non-engine they have set, Fallen Virtuous, like it does so much. And it's not really like a spreadsheet deck. It's a lot of freestyle. I mean, both of these decks are, but I do think they both are great in their own way. The reason why I have it on the same tier as Cool Tune is because I think Cool Tune now, when people are understanding how to play it more, they've come to realize that, and even myself, that the deck itself is not that broken. You're getting one pop with mix, one bounce with the synchro, and then like the negate, you also have to time it. You can't back to back on spell cards. You can only back to back on monsters, so that creates some issues there with board breakers. And those are things that people just didn't really understand at first, right? Like they just didn't know how the cards work. But when you have a strong understanding of how this deck works, you can actually exploit a lot of its weaknesses. Regardless, it's still like one of the best decks and being very strong. But I wouldn't even put it close to tier 0, which is why I have it on the same tier as Branded. And these can be interchangeable as the format goes on. But I think Branded's in a better spot for that, because the big target on the back right now is Cool Tune, and that's gonna make but if it goes reverse, then we can see that next, right? Next up on the second tier are tier 1, this is 0.5, because these decks are also very strong too, which is why I didn't label them 1, 2, 3, because their power levels is pretty similar, I would say. It's just like very, very small. And it's going to be Doomsday, Mitsurugi, and Fallen Elf Note. Doomsday, I don't think anyone would disagree on. It just won one of the recent nationals. I think it's Greece nationals. Very strong, really good into hand traps, which is something that Cool Tune does. And it can create, it's a super hard deck to play, but it can do absolutely crazy things, even when it gets triple, quadruple hand trap, ending on Drastia, plus the equip spell, the Doom Dirge, to be able to rank up to Drastius, and to be able to play like Floodgates to back it up is pretty insane. The only thing is, like, it's not consistent sometimes as the other decks, and it does have some RNG situations where like it's just opening one play sometimes, or it just dies, so like Ghost Ogre and Harmonia, which are in the format. But granted, a format where those cards aren't in there, this deck would go pretty insane, right? So really good, really strong deck. Next up, I have Mitsurugi on this list. Now, Mitsurugi is a deck that I didn't get touched at all in the ban list, and I still think it's very, very solid. I think these type of cards are very good into Cool Tune, which is one thing. And then number two, it just has like everything that Mitsurugi had last format is pretty much the same as this format. It's a deck that can still play all the floods too, which are good into the format. Like activating a Dimensional Fissure against both Cool Tune and Branded is super good. Which, by the way, I don't know why Dimensional Fissure didn't get hit on the ban list. Shouts to Konami for that one. But Dimensional Fissure is a very, it's Mitsurugi's ace card, right? So really, really strong there. Honestly, I don't mind Mitsurugi being one of like the better decks because there's the new legendary collection. I don't know what they're called, the structure decks. And it makes in structure decks, I hate when a structure deck is like the deck itself is really bad, which they don't do any much anymore. So shouts to them. Being this deck, honestly, being a structure deck friendly deck, being tier 1, I think it's totally fine. The only not fine is Dimensional Fissure, to be honest, but it's really strong. Next up, I have Fallen Elf Note. Now, I think a lot of people underestimate this card or this deck, and they usually have it way lower than it should be because a lot of people I see don't play it. But this deck is actually super crazy. I've played against this deck a few times, a lot of times actually. It's really crazy into the little hand traps. So like the Valor, the Bells, and all that. And in this type of format where there's less breakers and even Cool Tune not maining Fua in some certain cases because it doesn't work with the synergy of the deck, like not being a tuner, not being good levels and all that stuff. I can actually exploit that pretty well. I've drawn 4 hand traps against this deck a few times and they kept going, which is absolutely crazy. And people sleep on this deck a lot, because they always put it a lot lower. I think due to that reason, I think it's should be more respected. I think Fallen Elf Note is actually really good. Next up is the tier 1.5s, and it's going to be Malice, obviously. Nothing happened to it. K9 VS, which funny enough, originally, when I love K9 VS, it's one of my favorite decks. I know all the in and outs of this deck. Originally, when I saw the hit to Noroi on this deck, I thought that it didn't do anything, which is partially true in some certain ways. But the thing is, when you hit Noroi in this deck, you also hit Saryuja. It's just, obviously Saryuja's not on the ban list, but it's like a ban for Saryuja by hitting Noroi. It's like a 2-card in 1. And if you actually play the Vanquish Soul deck more, you'll realize that not every hand has a Vanquish Soul, right? And being able to use Saryuja is pretty important. I think it comes up enough to where it matters. Like summoning Saryuja in Vanquish Soul isn't a rare thing. But it's not like common either. So I would say like 1 of every 10 games you do it. But one of those every 10 games is you just, let's say you don't have Saryuja, you're going double rank 5 pass, and that's just not winning. Trust me, I played Vanquish, so I love if that wins. Like Ripper, Force Release set, plus like a Nash Knight doesn't win against like the good decks. It can, right, if their hand is bad, but it never happens. I think originally I would have it up here, but because of that, I'd put it a little bit lower, especially since, on top of the Noroi stuff too, this deck in itself isn't even that strong. Like, let's say the Noroi was still here, I'd still probably put it the same, to be honest. Next up is the Power Patron Archmage. I think a lot of people, this deck would be a lot weaker if people didn't know what it did, but because people don't, you have to respect it. Clown Crew Mitsu. It's kind of a killer into Droll. Both these decks are these are the 2 decks that I would say are pretty strong. If Droll wasn't around, it'd be ranked a lot higher, and by a lot I mean just 1 tier higher. But they both lose to Droll, but their engines are really, really strong. Clown Crew can like draw crazy. Paired Mitsurugi is really, really strong. I don't think you should play this deck pure. I actually have been starting to learn this deck because I see people play it enough to where it's kind of like a semi-breaker deck. Like you would want to play breakers in this deck, especially since like it has Mitsurugi cards, and Mitsurugi cards are typically something you want to pair breakers with. And the reason why I started learning it is because they don't hand trap you, right? So I'm looking at their hand all the time when I'm playing Cool Tune, and I'm like, bro, I don't know what this thing does. So I had to go learn it because I was looking at their hand way too much and not knowing what anything does. And then Sky Striker has a really good Cool Tune matchup, but it does have a draw problem. Um, this deck is really hard to play, and you're probably going to time a lot. But it's not bad at all, to be honest. And I think it's solid. It's just has a draw problem, difficult to play, and will punish you because it doesn't do anything like crazy. But yeah, that's really cool. And pretty much these are the only decks I could think would win a tournament. Well, these two categories, 0.5 and 1, can win tournaments. These can top tournaments, and 2 is just like for fun, I would say, like regional level, and that's Yummy Fiendsmith, because you can just replace the Cupsies with Puri Raise map. It's a lot worse than to draw, but I guess it does work in some ways because the Yummy names all act like the same almost. Also, by the way, are we gonna talk about how they put Cupsies synchro to 1? Like, yeah, that one is just like, I don't know, like that's just trolling at some point. Now I hear people say like the crackle argument, which like, okay, sure. I don't know, like I don't know, someone was smoking something at their headquarters. Next up we have a Radiant Typhoon, which is pretty. I'd actually want to rank this higher. This deck is actually low-key scary. The only reason why I would have it lower is because of its consistency issues, and especially now with the chant to 1, it makes it. I mean, it doesn't help its case, right? So, but if it gets to play, I feel like this deck is like, it's like a secret FTK. Now I don't have any stats to back this up, but I feel like every time Radiant Typhoon goes first and it like just gets to play even a little bit, like it resolves the Vision Draw 2, Corsair resolves, like I just lose. Like I don't know, like you shouldn't be losing, right? Because like that seems pretty like fair, you know, like he's just drawn a couple cards, discarding a card, getting his Surge, setting up the trap, and like all that. But then you just lose because like those interruptions are like pretty strong, unless like you draw like 3 board breakers or something. But I've noticed when they play, I don't really have a chance. Magnet Warrior, it needs Fiendsmith, but we're gonna assume it has Fiendsmith in here, and this deck is pretty strong. It's actually one of the best decks in Master Duel. But over here, I think we don't have something for it. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't think we have Block Dragon, which is huge, or something like that. Next up is NEA Craft as the new support, but even with the new support, we've seen it not be that powerful. So I put it right there. But if you don't know what this deck does, it's a nightmare to play against. So because of that, I gotta put it there. Next up, Predaplant. It's one of the new decks from Dominion. Is okay, but if you're gonna play a fusion deck, just play Brandon. They're like kind of the same thing in terms of like what you're looking at for a fusion deck, but you're just playing a bunch of like plant cards. And Clown Crew I have here just out of respect because it's a new deck, but just play Clown Crew Mitsu. And that's going to be it for this entire video. I'm not going to go anything under here because it would take forever, and I don't think it's worth even talking about these other decks. Big shout out to this guy for making this very easy to look at tier list. And that's going to be it for this one. Let me know what you guys think if you guys made it this far. Oh, also, the reason why I put it this way at the same time, I know like I said earlier, it makes my thoughts a little bit easier. But at the same time, like, bro, I don't remember last time watching a tier list all the way through. Like, I click on a tier list and I just skip to the end just so I can see their tier list anyway. So if I'm doing that, I'm pretty sure someone else is doing that too. So, you know, a lot better just put it in the front, right? So it's going to be it for this one. Like, comment, sub, and I'll catch you on the next one.